How do you travel around Winnipeg?
I have a car. I've got 2 kids and a spouse, so we do drive. But also, I have a bike. Do a lot of biking with my kids to get around recreationally, and take the bus periodically around City Hall. I've been trying to take the bus to and from City Hall a little more often. And one day on the commuter challenge, I took the bus part way and then ran in the rest of the way. And that's something I'd like to keep doing because that actually worked really well for me. So I do some biking. Mostly I commute by driving.
And why do you think people feel unsafe cycling on Winnipeg streets?
Well, it's that there isn't separate infrastructure. I mean, I've heard Anders Swanson talk about this a few times, that the need to try and get a separate lane or some sort of separate infrastructure because you're inches away from traffic in a lot of cases and people don't see you, or if it's in the winter, people are concentrating on something else. So I mean, personally, I haven't biked to City Hall from my house. I think I would be a bit nervous on a lot of those streets, but we've got, in St. Vital at least, we've done a pretty good job getting the bike paths in along Dunkirk and the east-west ones in the southern part of St. Vital. But I mean, I think ultimately for people, it's not so much it's Winnipeg drivers are worse than anywhere else. It's that we don't have the separate pathways, the separate infrastructure. And the research I've seen, a lot of people would bike more if they had the separate infrastructure.
And what do you think City Hall could change in the next 4 years?
Well, I think the study that was done was a good study. People are looking at a $400 million price tag. I think we could get that down a little bit. There were a number of bridges in there. I don't know that we need all of them, but we can certainly get going on that. I think it's probably a time when we'll take a break from rapid transit extensions because the one we're building is the biggest project in Winnipeg history. So I think it's time to start looking more at the pedestrian, the bike strategy, and seeing where we can do some work there. In my neck of the woods in St. Vital, the idea of the bridge from St. Vital over to U of Manitoba kind of got put on the back burner. There'll be a new St. Norbert councillor, and I'll be working with whoever that is. That's something I'd like to see talked about again. There were a couple of options of where to put it, and one of them connected to the bike trail across South St. Vital. So I think in my ward, I think that'll be a big project that I'd like to look at in the next 4 years.
And what would it take to make Winnipeg bike-friendly year-round?
Well, there is the big issue of snow clearing in terms of making winter cycling more feasible. And in my ward, you'd spend days trying to get Dunkirk bike path cleared off, and the next day the snow clearing of Dunkirk would dump a whole load back onto the bike path. So we need to do a way better coordination of where we're clearing snow and coordinate the road clearing with the bike path clearing. And also, I think, set some priorities and say we are going to clear the John Forsyth Trail. We are going to clear the South St. Vital Trail. There may be some that we aren't going to clear, but let's not have people calling all winter long thinking their trail should be cleared. Maybe it's a white network, as some of you folks have talked about in Montreal. That might be the way to go, to say this is where we're going to make sure we are cleared in the winter. Some of those bridges across the Seine, I know there was an event Bike Winnipeg had this year where the bridges weren't being cleared. So I think we need to figure out what our priorities are and get those cleared, get them cleared first so that people know they can commute in on them if they want to. Make it a priority, but make it clear what it is we're going to clear. And I heard all winter long about the John Forsyth Trail. So in my ward, I'm going to absolutely focus on that, and Bishop Grandin Greenway, making sure that gets cleared as a priority.